Let's bring back in Congressman Mast and Attorney General Paxton. Let me ask you, Congressman, based on your expertise with explosive devices, that kind of thing, Casey talked about the one package that was discovered that didn't explode. How many clues are there? I mean, aside from assuming there's any kind of return address or something that would just be woefully obvious, in putting together the device itself, what kind of clues will be there that will help law enforcement?
There's going to be a tremendous amount of information there. I'm going to try not to give away too much information because there's obviously hundreds of bomb techs that are out there working this kind of case, and their job is always dangerous. But they're going to be able to track back, really exploit where did the components come from, what kind of powder, very likely some kind of powder, are they using in this device? Is there a pipe in there? Is there a bag in it? Are there nails or screws or something like that? They're going to track back where all of this stuff was purchased. They're going to be able to find out what some of the calling cards are of this bomber.
In general, I know that there are state authorities, federal authorities all over this. What happens when you find this person? If you find them, what kind of penalties could they face? The death penalty in Texas? Who takes the lead?
So I think you'll see both federal and state law enforcement looking at prosecuting. So you could have dual prosecutions. You could have the federal and the state. You could end up with death penalty cases in Texas and even federally. So who knows? It's going to be open to all law enforcement to pursue their case.
What does it say to you that we haven't had, other than one we think is a joke at this point? We don't know. Investigators may be looking at it, but claims of responsibility. It seems like somebody is trying to make a statement of some kind, but if that were the case, political or otherwise, that they would step up and take credit, that there would be some kind of manifesto. What does it say to you that this is just being done without a message so far?
I think it's really strange that somebody's not taking credit. You always, with a lot of terrorist type acts, you see people take credit. In this case, obviously not. I have no idea why there's nobody taking credit.
And to this incident with the tripwire, what does that say to you, Congressman? I mean, is that a different level of sophistication? If anything, what does it tell you?
It's still pretty rudimentary technology. We're talking about things that have been used in combat for years, and that's another place where there's a lot of information out there. People have been seeing what's been used successfully in Iraq and Afghanistan and other places. But a tripwire, you're just talking about some kind of device that's likely going to either pull out some sort of positive block that's attached to an electrical circuit. That's very likely the way that something like that would occur. It's rudimentary, it's simple, but it may be simple by design as well.
Well, and what do you say to the people of Texas now, as they are, we heard from women earlier saying, I've ordered something, I know it's coming from FedEx, but I'm terrified for my package to show up. I don't want my kids walking down the sidewalk. What do I do?
So I talked to the President of the United States about this. We have 500 federal law enforcement officials, 400 FBI, 100 ATF. There's my office is involved. You got the Austin PD fully engaged in this. You have bomb experts coming from San Antonio and Houston. This is a massive effort to find this guy. I am convinced that with this amount of resources and the effort that's being put in by both the state, local, and federal, we're going to find this guy. And I would tell people, hey, live your lives normally, but make sure you pay attention to your surroundings. Make sure you don't pick up something that you don't know what is in it, and make sure you're safe and not sorry.
Is there any way to put together any kind of profile on who the suspect may be? Is there anything that we've seen so far that would give us a clue?
I think the FBI is probably working as hard as they possibly can on putting together that kind of profile. But undoubtedly, when they have this package that they get the chance to exploit, they're going to get a lot of information out of where this person's getting their components. Are they copying some other device that has been rendered safe at some other time? They did a controlled detonation of it that was mentioned, so they obviously looked at some of the things that were going on with this. They probably determined for some reason it was unsafe to ship to another place to be exploited. If they did a controlled detonation on it, they weren't shipping it back here to Quantico to be exploited. So if that is in fact the truth, then something about that was unsafe to ship. So I'm sure they looked at what they could to get the information out of it.
General, how often does something come in from the public or a concerned neighbor or family, friend, or, as the police have talked about, if you see something, say something? How often is that critical in solving a case?
Oh, it's often critical. I think that's how they solve a lot of cases. Somebody they may not even think it's useful information, and they'll call in and provide a clue that ultimately makes the difference. So, it's really important. We actually have a tip line that is very important for people to use, 512-472-TIPS. And that's there so that people can report suspicious activity. And I encourage them not to be afraid, because that really could make the difference.
Give us the number one more time. We'll make sure we blast it out as well.
Sure, it's 512-472-TIPS.
Okay. Attorney General Paxton, Congressman Mast, thank you both for coming in tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.